The system is decoding patterns now.
The Deviant Decision Pillar. This is someone who breaks away from cultural, social, and normative behavior. If a person is part of a certain culture, they will make moves to stand away from that culture. Their motivation often lies in being different, bold, or even disruptive. They may seek transformation through contrast. Physical behavior. This may be unconventional clothing, tattoos, or bold fashion choices in general terms. They will challenge rules and norms. This person will take pride in ordering something that is not on the menu, for instance. They may even park in a location where they know they are not supposed to. This person will take joy in bending or breaking the rules. Physical indicators. This person tends to act cool and collected. Verbal cues. They will say something like, "I just don't like doing things in the traditional way." Or they might say, "I don't care what everyone else is doing. I do what makes sense to me." Also saying, "I'm kind of a rebel when it comes to things like this. I don't do it that way." They will sound sarcastic or blunt in their typical speech patterns. So, here we'll not only see the deviant, but the pride coming out. You will see this individual using contrast language. You will hear, "They said I couldn't, so I did it." This is the contrast. This is the norm, so I am doing it differently. With this person, you want to avoid group speak or any other traditional language. In other words, you don't want to appear like you are trying to bring up an idea that everyone is doing. Here you want to do the exact opposite. Change your influence by breaking a pattern and challenging the status quo. You can say to them that, "I can see that you are not like most people because most people would not have the courage to do what you do." Here you allow them to be separate from the crowd. Your leverage or influence is by making them think a different way. The Novelty Decision Pillar. This person will exhibit decisions based on newness, change, and excitement. They are always looking for the newest thing and make their decisions in this way. There may be a slight similarity between novelty and defiance, but they are very different. So, while the deviance type of person tries to stand out, the novelty person is based on how new is this thing. In other words, is this thing or idea cutting edge? The real pull for these types of people is the unfamiliar, stimulating, or in general are outside of the routine. Novelty triggers dopamine because their brains are wired to find what is the next cool thing and is on the leading edge of development. The physical behaviors. You want to look for quick eye scanning movement. They will always be seeking some kind of stimulation all of the time. You will see them fidgeting with objects, foot tapping, or even shifting in their seat when they are bored or feeling like things are mundane. Look for bright or trendy clothing. Things that are brand new and that almost nobody else has. They may also interrupt themselves or maybe bounce between topics in mid-conversation because they are always traveling towards that newest thing. The verbal cues. You will hear things like this. "I just need something fresh." Or "I hate doing the same thing twice. Why don't we try something different?" Or when they are doing something that is routine, they will say something like, "I get so bored so easily." They will say things like, "Yeah, this is all right, but I wonder what else is out there." Their minds are always searching for what is over the horizon for the next best thing. So, how can we speak to these people? In general, you want to be fast-paced, often even rising with intonation or excitement. You always want to be pretty excited with these people because if you get lost in a monotone conversation, they will just drift out of focus very quickly. When someone who makes all of their decisions using novelty, you want to speak to them and be as novel as you can. Let's think about the framework when interacting with this type of person. These people want adventures and love experiments. You want to frame your words as an adventure, like an incredibly new experiment that no one has ever tried before. Highlight what is different about your offer and how it rises above what anyone else has done. Instead of the deviance being the focus on what is different, the novelty conversation will concentrate on things that are brand new. Here are some examples of what to say to the novelty person. This isn't anything like you have done before. Or, do you want to see something crazy that actually works? Some things to avoid. You want to avoid routine-based language. Avoid talking about things everyone is doing, because this will turn off the novelty person instantly. The social decision pillar. People who like making decisions on a social pillar really consider how they are going to make those decisions based on their social circle. They are typically interested in interpersonal dynamics and how others are going to feel, react, or be affected by the decisions they will make in their life. You will see this person's compass is wired for connection, belonging, and even relational impact. The primary filter is harmony, people, their social circle, and how their social circle will react to the decisions they make. You will also see things like soft and open gestures. The physical behaviors. You will tend to see strong eye contact and a frequent facial mirroring. They may sit or stand in ways that don't take up a lot of dominating space, and they will nod often during conversations. They will also tend to lean into others to speak and hear things properly. They will observe other people carefully before responding or choosing how to react. Some of the verbal cues. They might say things like, "I just want everyone to be comfortable with this," or "I really don't want to hurt anyone's feelings." You may hear them say, "It's important to me that we are all on the same page." They may question by say, "But how will that person feel about this?" Or maybe just in general, "I really just care a lot about how this affects the people around me, such as friends or family." So, this is that internal or external dialogue that you can expect. Specifically, you will see a gentle, emotional, and attuned tone to others. They will use group referencing language. So, you will see a lot of team pronouns coming out. Not all the time, of course, but you will hear we, us, and them. This person may also hesitate or soften bold opinions to keep pace or avoid conflict. So, how can you speak or tailor your language with the social decision maker in order to have the biggest impact with them? You want to speak to them in terms of connection, harmony, and emotional benefit in general. So, if you frame outcomes on how beneficial things will impact others, specifically their family, friends, and team as a result of making this decision, you could say to them, "I think this will make our team more supported," or "I think this brings people together more in general." You could say to them, "You've got that heart that people will follow, and I think this choice will really help you lead with that." So, what are the things you want to avoid with the social decision person? You don't want to use really cold logic with them. Don't push too hard because they calibrate to tone, not just logic. If you get too excited with this person, you can easily push them away. To them, it is very important that this decision they are making will be positive for everyone, and they will not react to an intense or dramatic conversation. The conformity decision pillar. The difference between social and conformity are smaller circles of people like friends and family. The conformity pillar relates to a larger group of people. The best way to think of this is that is opposite of the deviance pillar. This person wants to be as socially normal as possible. You will see them making decisions according to rules, structure, thoughts about systems, and what is expected behavior. Their brain is going to seek predictability, order, and social safety by doing what is right, whether that means morally, socially, or procedurally. They will always be considering at the larger tribe and culture group. The physical behaviors associated in general with the social person. You will see an upright posture, symmetrical positions, and they may sit with their hands folded or close to their body. They will often dress in expected norms or their group environment. You will see things like a well-pressed shirt, a clean but modest uniform, and generally they will be aligned with their culture or group as much as possible. So, think of that herd mentality, wanting to be part of that herd and not sticking out. They will always avoid standing out or bringing attention to themselves. So, they will want to blend in without becoming completely passive. But they are quick to follow posted rules. signage or order lines, or any time there is an etiquette will dram in the social decision person. The verbal cues that you may hear would be things like, well, in general, that's just how we do it here. Or, that's how it's done at this company. You may hear, that's not really appropriate to change that because it is not the way we do things here. They might ask, what's the proper way to do this? I just want to do the right thing. Their language patterns will be structured, very polite, and fairly measured in general. They may refer to authorities, figures, cultural norms, policies, or traditions whenever they want to justify a decision they make. They will also seek clarity on how things are really supposed to be. So, how would you speak to the conformity person? Some of the things that you can say that will align with them. They will want you to show them that your offer is proven and aligns with the respectable thing to do. Or, I think this brings people together more in general. Saying things like, this is the gold standard in your field. I think this follows all of the practical standards in this field. Or, if I had to guess, I'm willing to bet that you are the person that does things the right way. The things you want to avoid is anything that would be seen as disruptive, anti-establishment, or screw the rules type of mentality. You don't want to push for change without structure, as it will create unease. The red line to deviance. Anytime you see someone with a conformity decision pillar, the higher the conformity level, you will see a direct, proportional relationship to a red line to deviance. You will see this appear as secret deviance that will be seen behind closed doors. This is typically without anyone noticing it. And because it is proportional, people who are very high-level conformity will express that deviance in fairly extreme ways. It's important to know this because very, very high conformity people, there is probably an equally high expression of deviance. A good metaphor is if you think about gasoline under pressure, the greater the pressure, the higher explosion of reactivity of that gas. So the higher degree of conformity the person is placed under, the greater the expression or pressure release is going to be of that deviance expression. The investment decision pillar. When thinking of this pillar, think of one key word because it comes down to these three letters, ROI. When this person is considering making a decision in their life, the number one thing they will consider is what is the direct and applicable return on investment to me personally. This person will have a lot of proclivity towards the sunken cost fallacy. So, when they make decisions, it is based on how much time, energy, money, or even emotion they have already poured into something. So walking away from it would be like losing a part of themselves. The physical behaviors. They will often show attention when it comes to change. You may see things like a tightened jaw, arms crossed, or any type of protective behavior. They may also use possessions or relationships as emotional anchors. You will see them wear old items and keep memorabilia unless they can justify the direct, applicable ROI to them. They will hesitate or stall before agreeing to something new. These people can also become visibly uncomfortable whenever an option threatens what they have already committed to. Let's talk about the verbal cues. Statements like, I've already put so much into this that I really just want to see it through to the end. Or, I can't walk away now. It would be a waste at this point. They will typically speak in past tense that reflects that continuity-based language. They will emphasize personal effort, sacrifice, and emotional buy-in. You will see them justify staying with things because it means a lot to them or they feel that they have come too far. So, ways to speak to these people. You want to make sure it is related to that return investment. So, anchor your language in a previous investment and show how this investment will honor and reward that investment. You can reinforce identity as someone who finishes and follows through and really protects time and energy. You can say, you have already built something worth protecting. Or, the most important thing is that you have always done the hard work. This just gets you the return that you deserve. You can say, Most people would have quit by now, but you didn't. The red line. Never minimize their efforts or framing change as starting over. It is critical to always go back to the return investment. The necessity decision pillar. This is a person that always thinks about this one question. Is this decision something that is absolutely required for me to make? Am I able to delay, or can I just stick with the old version of the thing I have? Because of this, the person will make their decisions based on urgency, immediacy, and what must be done right now. Their brain really responds to pressure, deadlines, or consequences. They may move because not moving isn't an option. They are driven by outcomes and survival, not novelty or comfort at all. The physical behavior. You want to look for strong, purposeful movements that get to the point quickly. They will have a no-nonsense posture with a high degree of skepticism around a new decision they might make and have squared shoulders. Minimum fidgeting with a high focus and attention when under time or resource pressure. They may appear agitated or restless when conversations drift into theories or hypotheticals. They want to know the no-nonsense, right now, what is absolutely required facts. The verbal cues for the necessity person. You will hear, "I don't have time to mess around. This really just needs to get done." That's all good, but what is the bottom line? Or okay, let's forget the fluff. What are we actually doing here? I think what this all comes down to is that we can't wait on this decision. So the general framework here is that people are going to speak in sharp, results-driven tone. Their values are related to clarity, simplicity, and even speed making important or timed decisions. They will skip small talk when the energy is high and will be laser-focused on getting something done. So, speaking to this person, you should speak to them in terms of necessity or immediacy along with consequence of not taking action. Action is not an option. Explain to them that your solution removes risk, waste, or anything of that nature. You can say, "Look, this is what needs to happen next." Or, "Doing nothing costs more than doing the right thing, right now." Say to them, "I know you are a no-nonsense person, and this is the kind of solution that cuts to the heart of what you are looking for, and it gives you exactly what you need and nothing else." The red line. You don't want to do any over-explaining, rambling, or bringing up too many examples. Use soft, suggestive language like, "You might want to consider." It is important to your conversations that you never tell them what to do, or if you need to pre-phrase by saying, "You might want to consider that this is the kind of solution to get this done in the way it is required, and it can happen today."